Welcome, guys, to some Getting Stoned at Hearthstone experience. We have not been, we haven't made a video recently till right now. You notice my setup is a little different. I broke my laptop, so I'm here playing on my regular computer. I had to move upstairs, change my webcam. I don't have an aircon up here, so I don't like to stream because it's too hot. So I've been playing on my iPad. Today I'm going to talk about Elemental Priest. But before we talk about Elemental Priest, I'd like to show you the deck that I played last season. It's a control deck. I like it. I actually thought it was pretty strong. Very anti-aggro-ish. Here's the list here. I don't want to go over this deck too much, but you see it there. And there's obviously cards and whatnot that you can change to fit your meta, right? But this is the control list that I played to pretty decent success, I would say. If anything, the cards I would change are these final three cards, the Curator and the Primordial Drake. If I took these cards out, I actually might try to do something like play Gadgetzan or more 3-drops. But this package worked out pretty well. I enjoyed the deck. But this month, if we're not playing a Hunter or Warlock, we're just going to play Elemental Priest. This is a archetype that I tried to mess around with previously, like when the expansion first came out. I don't know if you can hear the fan in the background. If you can, I'm sorry. It's pretty loud. I'll see if we can come up with another solution next time. But, yeah, so this deck is Elemental Priest. It's gone through a bunch of iterations. Online friend of mine, his name's Charles. He made a deck similar. And I just took out cards that I didn't think worked well, and I'm testing some things. I know he's testing a bunch of different things. So basically, the game plan of this is to get on the board aggressively and finish the game with Divine Spirit Inner Fire combo. I don't think the combo is very necessary, so I'm only playing one Inner Fire. That could be a mistake. This is the deck here. You know, Fire Plume Phoenix, I think this card's underrated. I want to get more exposure playing it, so this is my 4-drop. I'm playing Servant of Kalimos and Lyra and Bully because, you know, this is my favorite card in the expansion. Or, well, in Hearthstone right now, pretty much. Servant of Kalimos is pretty good. You'll notice that whenever you play this, you have a pretty high chance of getting Lyra. Like, and that's just reason, you know, to fucking play the card already. Because you get your endgame condition very often. And then 2 Blazecallers at the top of the curve. Acts kind of like a fatter fire elemental. Not necessarily needed, but I kind of like, you know, we're still kind of just messing with the deck, seeing how it plays out. We're actually, this is only day 2 of the season, right? Or day 3. So we haven't really gotten a lot of experience with the deck. We're still kind of developing it. If you want to get the deck list, you can see the link to the deck list in the description. So you can just copy and paste that shit for yourself. Yeah, sorry about the I don't know if you can hear the fan. It's fucking loud though. I can hear it. And it's still hot. It's still pretty hot in my room. So here we go. Versus Murloc Paladin. It's important to get on the board early. So you really kind of want to get Firefly and Northshire Cleric and Radiant Elemental. Even though I have the coin here and I can play out a Kabal early, it's not the greatest target. I would even rather have a Curious Glimmerroot or a Tar Creeper. So I'm going to send everything back and keep the potion. So this is still kind of slow, but at least that's some nice options, I think. So ideally we want Radiant Elemental, Power Word Shield. Okay, so it's aggro Murloc. We know it's aggro Murloc because he played Grimscale Chum. And that's the deck that plays that, dude. Like, you know, there's no other deck really that would be playing that card, so. That was interesting. I think we play out the Tar Creeper here. Okay, because we kind of stalwarted him a turn here. That's good. That's good. I have to fear him buffing this. Like, that's a real... That's a real possibility. And especially, like, you know, there's Murloc War Leader. You know, there's things on the board that if I let him keep these two items on the board, I could be in a lot of trouble, right? So I'm instead going to just kill it. Now, I could heal this up. See, because of, man, True Silver Champion, if I heal this up, it's the better use of my... Yeah, let's heal it up. Let's slow play it. See, the reason I kind of want to play Firefly simply because... fuck it, we're good. We're good. There's no Forge... Well, I don't know. So there's True Silver Champion. So at least we forced him to use everything on the board, and he used up the turn. That's good. Those are good things. We want that to happen. So typically on turn 4, you want to always play an Elemental. It's important. So we are going to play the Firefly. But I will first play Curious Glimmerroot. Let's go grab a Murloc card. Let's see what you got. Vine Cleaver. Okay, so he's obviously playing Consecration. Right? And then we'll play this Firefly. So we play Firefly on turn 4 just to make sure that we have an activation should we draw into Blazecaller. Important factor here. Alright. That is cause for concern. See, I can buff this to 5. Man, this is deadly because, you know, if you have Spike Ridge Steel. And I see the one thing about my deck, it doesn't have removal. So Spike Ridge Steel kind of sucks here. So yeah, we're just gonna have to do this because Blessing of Kings, like pretty much every card he plays here is in his advantage. So that's pretty good. Like, for all intents and purposes, that's not bad. Like, I guess, you know, for what we can hope for, that's not too shabby. So he's thinking about Spike Ridging something. So, oh, Rockpool Hunter, okay. Ooh, Gentle Megasaur. I guess let's buff first. Double shield. How important is double shield? See, I have to play the fire elemental here because I want to make sure I'm able to activate Blazecaller next turn. Let's kill this. This is the biggest threat. Because if he pulls War Leader, we're kind of fucked. Like there aren't really a lot of spells or cards I could really pull into that are going to improve this situation for me. So, you know, really this, as weird of a play that is, this does become the best play. Because at least Flame Elemental offers something that can trade with something that he has on the board, right? So it can kill off 2 minions on the board, right? So, I mean, other... Yeah. That sucks. Could play Kalimos first. I don't know. Nah. Let's kill Murlocs off the board. Let's not have him have any kind of synergy with that. If he's gonna beat us, he's gonna beat us with Spikewood Steel. So or Tyrion. And this is the one thing about this deck. Like if it falls behind, you kind of struggle because you have no removal whatsoever. Your removal is all combat based. So we'll see. That's an interesting play. All right, Lyra's kind of cool, and it's going to allow us to play a big turn out next turn. So let's go with Lyra. Hopefully we can stay alive one turn here. Maybe we can trade some shit. There's Spikewood Steel. Spikewood Steel is... That card's a bitch, man. Like... This is problematic, but it is also not the end of the world. I'll say Blazecaller for next turn. So I know for a fact I already have 2 more spells that I want to play, that I can play. So I'm going to use Radiant Elemental here. Let's buff some shit up. Alright, okay. So let's kill off something. Let's heal everything up. See if we can't find something nice. Potion of Madness. Potion of Madness doesn't help us here. Divine Spirit gives us the most value of our cards. So we will Divine. Now, Inner Fire, I don't want to waste it. I only have 1. Sorry. Fuck. Getting over a cold. So this is the best line of play because of equality. It's a strong play. It just kind of wastes us right here. Okay, so no equality. He's going for the board, and alright, cool. Now this is not the end of the world. We can certainly answer some of this, so I guess let's answer. Let's see what we can do. Interesting cards here. Okay, we'll do that. Play this up. Oh gosh, that works out nicely. I'll take Divine Spirit. Silence this guy. Unfortunately, we have to heal, so we're gonna just heal. And that's pretty strong. This is pretty strong. Like, unless he has equality here, and even if he has equality, he's gonna have to trade out a board. He can't burst me down from. Can he burst me down from 16? Oh wow. Consecrate. That was close. I played around 16 damage. That's not too bad. That's kind of a tough break, but he went a lot of the game without playing Consecrate, so we should have expected that card. But even there, that was pretty nice. Found lethal. Yeah, that's just tough. That's a tough situation, I guess. So yeah, here we don't know what our opponent's playing, but we still want to get on the board early, so we need to go for Radiant Elemental, Firefly, Potion of Madness. Potion of Madness is not that strong in this matchup. And then whenever you have a 1-drop on the play, you just gotta play it. Like, there's some matchups where the 1-drop just doesn't do work, but Cleric always does work. If he goes Coin Frostbolt, Cleric did work. If he plays Mana Worm, then I attack and heal up Cleric, Cleric did work. Okay, there's very few matchups where playing the Cleric is not going to be the right play. And here, like, sure, he's denied one of my later game draw mechanics, but that's not that big of a deal. That's not big at all. So I could have played Shadow Visions, but personally I like to save it for the, I like to use it as a tutor for the card that I'm really looking for. So, alright, so he played this fucking card. I've never even seen a mage play this card. So, no idea what he's playing. Could be any of these 3 cards, but I obviously go for the card that would have the most values, Ice Block, right? If you don't know, if you have literally no idea what your own opponent's playing, you go for the best card, always. Okay? So, alright, cool. So this could be Freeze Mage. I know a lot of Freeze Mages run... What is the... what's that? Dang you, dude. Okay, so we lucked out here. We can play Firefly. And we can play this. This is strong. Strong play. Firefly is underrated. People like to run Crystalline Oracle. I mean, I could see playing it. Like, there's no reason why I wouldn't, like, play it per se, but if I had to choose between the 2, I'm obviously playing Firefly. Alright? Okay, we'll take Light Spawn, because Light Spawn is actually a pretty good card. Also, when you lay out your minions versus Mage, you want to put the strongest minions on the outside versus Mage, because of threat of Meteor, right? Okay, here we go. Our opponent's doing a little combat stuffies. Okay, so I need to play an Elemental next turn. Is there a play here that I like? Not necessarily. So I'll just play an Elemental in here. I put pressure. Because I know I gotta play the Blazecaller next turn, right? So Lightspawn, this is a card I'm thinking about putting in the deck. I know my friend plays this. I played a Fire Plume Phoenix. I think it's just overall better card, but there's certainly an argument can be made for this is a scary turn, but he hasn't done anything to make me assume that's a mirror entity. Okay, so it's likely to be an Ice Block or Ice Barrier, and not a Vaporize because he didn't play Glyph. Well, actually, no, yeah, and that's not the card that he would have gotten from Battling Book. So chances are, you know what? Let's see. Is it a... Okay, it's a counter spell. That's great. So we'll just attack. And I'll go ahead and play out the Flame Caller here. My reasoning being, if I draw into another elemental, I want to also be able to activate its ability right now. And I've got quite a few elementals that I could draw into, in which case I would like to activate that ability. Right? And here's another reason why, because now I can trade out this guy, which I'm gonna have to do. So in this situation, yeah, we're gonna buff it. We just don't want it to die. Like I said, we keep him on the outside. Do some combat heal. Like, the combo is great, but it's not necessary to win matchups. There are some matchups where you want it, like Jade Druid. You want to just get a fat minion out there that you can interfire. But other matchups, it's not necessary. You don't really need it. So, what is this? Summon 3/1/1 Murlocs. This card right here could be the death of... What in the world? It's kind of bad luck, man. Now, what can I do to ATS, you know? And it's kind of why I like the Shadow Word cards. At least you have something that you can tutor for and answer. This is shitty. I actually don't even want to play a Radiant Elemental in this. I'll take the 12 or the 10. This game. So we're dead here. There's no way we can answer this. Nothing. I'm assuming that this matchup is close to unwinnable. Because I don't have any death cards. So even if I had a board, if he drops Alexstrasza, I'm forced to trade that entire board into Alexstrasza. Like if this was an empty board and I had minions, and he drops Alexstrasza, I can't even kill the fucking Alexstrasza. I have to make those trades and kill this. So you know what I mean? Like this, certainly a tough matchup, I would say. A bad example of what this deck can do, because I do believe that the deck is okay. So yeah, that's gonna be unfortunate. I do think the deck has a lot of promise, and it is actually pretty good, and I enjoy playing it. I enjoy playing it than most of the other priest decks. The control list that I showed you before, I think, is very strong. I think it's like for ranking on the ladder. If you don't mind games maybe being slightly lengthy, you play that control list instead, because it's got answers to everything, really. You know what I mean? It's got removal, it's got healing, it's got value, it's got long end game, it's got early game removal and trading. This deck is more creature based, trade oriented. Let's try one more game with this deck. If this matchup like it's not really close or whatnot, then we'll probably just sit this deck down. I mean, before today, I was like 8-3 with this deck, so it's not that bad. Like I gotta believe that there's some value to it. Like, and here we get the Thunder Lizard, which is, you know, this can be a crazy card. A 3/6 on turn 3 is very powerful. So let's see if we can get that. Let's see what we can get here. Maybe he passes the turn. Innervate. Vicious. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is not... So here's an opportunity to talk about something. So here's Firefly. Now, if this was Oracle, he could just trade out the Acolyte and then use the 2 mana for something else. But because of the 2 health, he's forced to do more than one action. And you think about all the 1-drops in the game, most of them are 1 damage, except for a couple Murlocs, right? But like, you know, you're looking at the N'Zoth's Warrior, he would have to trade Patches plus the weapon, or the Bloodcell Corsair and the weapon, or the N'Zoth's First Mate and the weapon. Like, typically, it's going to force your opponent to have to use 2 actions. Now, if this was... So now, next turn, chances are he's going to attack and use hero power to kill it. Or he's going to just leave it on the board. Right? Other way, I will kill his temple for 1 turn. But had this been Crystalline Oracle, he could have just used the hero power if he wanted to, or use the trade, or whatever, and I would have gotten nothing off of it, just besides a later game RNG value. So to me, the Firefly really does provide you more. It's a consistent thing that you will always have. So, okay, so this tells me he has no turn 2, obviously, because he opted for that. Oops. I'll take Wind Fury. Yeah, this card's maybe questionable right now. Now I'm thinking the card's questionable because... That's fine. Let's get some value. Okay, Blazecaller. Inner Fire. That's fine. Let's see what value we can get. Poisonous? I like poisonous. Let's do that. Okay. So he opted to cycle. How reliable will a 6/6 be right here? He's used one Wrath, no swipes, one Feral Rage. No, fuck that. Okay, we go with this guy. Burgly is the king of 5-drops. If the board is in your favor, you drop Burgly Bully. Okay? Because there's nothing he can do besides Wrath on the Lizard that will effectively kill any minion on this board right now. Okay? Bully is the shit. It straight up wins games. Best card in the deck. Okay, we'll kill that off. Now let's put him on the clock. Sucky thing here is I can't activate either elemental for the next turn, but that was an important turn tempo-wise. It's going to put a lot of pressure on him before he can get the cards like Primordial Drake. So before he's going to be able to lay any big taunts on the board, I'm going to threaten with lethal, right? So. And it is so fucking hot up here, dude. Like, it is crazy. It's ridiculous. Oh, you know what? I noticed that my... Can you see the deck list on your screens? I hope so. Alright, so now he's just drawing dead, you know. He's... What can he get that's going to win him the game, right? So. Alright, so we got one. So we went 1 for 2. Like... And to be honest, we won that game because of Burgly Bully and Divine Fire Inner Spirit. So, like I said, this deck is still a work in progress. Let's, I guess, try one more. That was kind of a weak game, to be honest. Like, let's just go for half an hour, right? A Druid, like, that's how you play most of the Druid matchups. I think even against aggro Druid, you go that route. Basically, you just find a turn where you can build something big that the Druid... Because Druid just doesn't have the spot removal necessary to clear. So, it works out well. We have a 1-drop. It's important to get pretty aggressive. Actually, I don't know. We'll keep everything. We have a 1-drop, so the shield is not too bad. And because we're going to keep the shield, I'll keep the 3-drop. This is great. This is perfect. I don't want to say it's perfect, but this is not bad. So assuming this is Cavern Rogue, right? Quest Rogue. Oh, it's not Quest Rogue. I'm going to buff this because this is the most important card to keep on the board. And the reason why I didn't play the other elemental is because I want to save it as an activator for something later down the road, right? So, And Fire Plume Phoenix seems like a weird card. 4 for 3/3, that's slightly understated. But 2 damage is important, and Elemental Tag is important, right? So, that is why we're playing it. Now, in this situation, I'm just going to choose to buff everything, because I don't want, in this particular matchup, now assuming he's not playing Sap or Vanish, right? But I still don't want to put all my cookies into one basket. I want to make the board as difficult for him to remove as possible, because it means more cards that have to go out for him, right? So, because, you know, if I just buff the Cleric, then he could just use Vile Spine Slayer in one turn, and then the value's just not as strong anymore for me. So here, he's going to put a few cards to it. Cool. Now here, the good thing is we're going to be able to hit this for 2, and still nothing on this board dies to hero power. And we still developed, which is great. Killed a creature, kept the board, and developed more. And it's not easily removed on turn 4. This is not easily removed. So here comes Vile Spine Slayer, of course. Going to obviously kill off, right? So, hey man, that's good. Right now, things are looking good. Now here's a turn where we can actually buff up this decent size threat. Now, I could have played the Elemental, but I don't know if I'm going to get Servant of Kalimos next turn. I have a 9.5% chance of drawing it, so I don't really need to worry about the activator. Well, there's 2 Thunder Lizards, so I actually have a 19% chance of drawing something relevant that needed an activator. But that's fine. Okay, now we got a Tar Creeper. Now things are looking pretty good. We'll play the Tar Creeper. Heal up the creatures, because they're slightly more important. Although Vile Spine Slayer kills anything, doesn't matter the health, right? Already used 1. And he still has 20 cards left, right? Okay, so here's Gadget's End. Now I kind of feel the necessity of killing this. Okay. Silence. Coin. A 1-drop. That's the worst thing he could have played, actually. So this tells me he has patches in hand, right? Because prep. Oh, he's drawing deep, man. 5-card advantage on us. Great. Alright, so let's hope we can get there, right? Go for 1 and hope that we can get 1 mana to spend. No, it's not what we're looking for. Trade it out. Let's hope we survive a turn. That thing had to die, yeah? There's no... Okay, combo activator. Comes the Slayer. Or the second Eviscerate. What did he spend on that? Backstab? It's fine, fine. A lot of cards to lose. Okay. 10-10. That's fucked. Okay, I'm going with this route because I'm hoping that he can't kill anything. Wow. Hallucination's strong, man. No, actually, I don't know. It is what it is. Oh, okay, well, he lost. So our opponent doesn't know, but... Alright, so, I mean, god damn. You know, like... I don't know. You know, sometimes the deck fucking works pretty well, pretty decent. Like, that game was close. You know, and I missed the removal, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, not having Shadow Word Pain doesn't seem right. Shadow Word Death, not so much, okay? Like, whatever. Like, okay, maybe you're not running Death. That's one thing. But Shadow Word Pain seems really important. The Lizard, how important was the Lizard? It wasn't... I mean, the Lizard wasn't that good for us. It wasn't bad. I mean... I don't know. I mean, it was okay. Well, the Lizard had poison and killed a 3/6 taunt that one turn, so... Really, that's the card that I'm mostly concerned about, is do I play the Lizard? Or do I play Shadow Word Pain? Two things, right? So... the Lizard can be good, right? If you're playing this on curve with the tag, right, with the adapt, then you're looking at a pretty decent card, man. Having any for most of the effects are pretty darn good on a 3-drop. So that's nice. And then the thing, if you don't play Shadow Word Pain, when you look at the spells we have 2 potions. We have Potion, Inner Fire, Power Word Shield, Divine Spirit, Shadow Visions. Those are the only spells in the deck. So chances are, when you play Shadow Visions later in the game to find the missing combo piece, you're going to find it. Because, you know, man, chances are you've already drawn most of the other pieces. So, you know, I don't know. We'll test the deck more. Like I said, you will find this deck list in the description. We didn't win the first 2 games, but we did win the last 2. So... you know, and you know, the first game was pretty interesting. We had a chance of winning that game. The second game, we kind of got blown out. And then the third and fourth game, we won fairly easily, right? I would say. And I think a lot of people are walking away from the Divine Spirit Inner Fire combo, like, feeling like it's too... I don't know what, but that combo is the closest thing that priests have... that priests have to combos like Savage Roar and Force of Nature, right? Like, that's your end game. That's how priests win games, man. Like, get used to it. Like, if you want to run Control Priest, then so be it. Run Control Priest, but just expect your games to go long. Like, if you want to end games, you want to win proactively, then Inner Fire combo is the way to go. Now, the question is, do you build it with a aggressive shell, like we're trying to do? You build it with a mid-range shell, like dragons, or do you build it with a control shell, like, you know, typical Control Priest with removal, and then just dropping big things down? So, like I said, there's this list right here, which I think, you know, this is still a work in progress, but, you know, it's doing okay. And then there's the control list, which I think is very strong and very well suited for the ladder, because you don't know what you're going to expect. And especially if you face a lot of Shaman and aggressive decks, this is the deck you want to play. Because it is just taunt heavy. It really shuts out a lot of decks. Like, maybe this curve is kind of strong, Curator and Primordial Drake. I could see people removing this endgame curve and instead putting in like 1 Gadget Sand Auctioneer and 2 Tar Creepers. Like, I could see that. But this deck is fucking strong, man. In its current state, this deck is very strong. So, Have fun, mess with these decks. Tell me what you think.